Hello, everyone. I am hopping back into a Facebook Live today. So this is the third one this week. It's a lot of Facebook Live. All right. So on Monday, we had a really long talk about staying motivated during the year. And yesterday, I shared art resources we have used from kindergarten up through my high schooler. Courtney, you're here live. So today is going to be quick. And I picked the topic because it's actually what I'm working on today. So I figured this was the perfect time just to show you guys what I am doing to make sure, and what we've done in the past, but now I'm doing it in an organized fashion to make use of local resources. So because I hate when I'm always finding out too late that, something was going on downtown, or I missed some exhibit at the Science Museum, and for some reason that happens, and then I'm like, oh, that would have been perfect. So I'm trying to get more organized about planning ahead for that instead of finding out that month or the week before because a Facebook event showed up in my Facebook feed, which is where I get a lot of ideas, to be honest. All right. So what I'm doing today is I'm sitting down with my planning pages, and you don't need special planning pages, though people have asked me for these planning pages. So I did put them on my blog. So there's a link for that. They're $1. And you get a blank one and one filled in like I like to use. And what I did is I decided I didn't want to miss things. So I wanted to sit down, once maybe early in the year, and once maybe in December, and maybe sometime in, March or April. And I wanted to take notes on the things that were going on around so that I could plan for them. And here's why this works really well, especially with the art museum. We have always let the art museum, for about the last 4 years, dictate our art curriculum. So today I looked up what exhibits were coming at the art museum, and I am thrilled with the curriculum that they picked for us this year. Amy, who lives in Raleigh, who just hopped on, Amy, you're going to be really excited about this because you're here in Raleigh too, so the art museum can dictate your curriculum. And starting in October, which I wrote on my little October Around Town, Georgia O'Keeffe exhibit is coming, and it will be here through January 20th. So guess who we're going to study this year? And the really handy thing is that our the Masterpiece Society has a Mixing with the Masters. I think she has Georgia O'Keeffe is one of the masters in those lessons. So we are totally going to do that. So I already now know what we will focus on in art in October, and then we will finish our Georgia O'Keeffe study with a trip to the art museum because that is what they're studying. Now, I don't know what your art museum is studying, so you will have to look up what their exhibits. And I also made a note so I could prepare that at the same time this exhibit comes, one comes with a photographer that they'll display like 15 photos captured in Mexico. So I might want to do a little something to prepare the kids for that. Typically, this smaller exhibit is ticketed with the larger one. So it includes the photography one when you get your tickets for Georgia O'Keeffe. I actually, and I use the art museum as my curriculum and have done it for years. So we are members of the art museum. So I automatically get tickets to things like this. So that works well for us, but you could look around at your art museum and see, how that will work out. I'm sorry, it's not showing me comments today. So I'm trying to scroll for them, but okay. So if you said something and I'm not responding, I'm really sorry. And then I noticed, Amy, since you're here, in February, and I printed these out for the whole year, John James Audubon's Birds of America is coming February 16th to December 31st. So guess what other artists we're going to study? So anyway, this is why I love to use local resources, because we just go by ourselves. Oh, that's a good question. I won't do organized tours, but I do look up. Oh, I am seeing it. I just have to scroll. It's showing me one at a time. I don't do organized tours, though I will look at what they're offering. We typically go by ourselves. My kids complain about tours. And I used to feel like something was wrong with my children. Like, why don't they want to talk to the docent? And why don't they want, and I just gave up. They would like to go and explore on their own, and I do my best. That being said, we did take a tour because it came with an art activity when MC Escher came. And I really feel like it's valuable sometimes to do it. So I try not to do it to my kids all the time. But this particular tour was offered with a tour of the MC Escher exhibit, and then you also got to make an art activity. So it was kind of worth it. So yeah, we kind of play that by ear, but it reminds me who's coming so I can get the books out of the library. And now when I go to make my planning sheet, which we'll talk about planning next week, I'll go to my calendars, and when I fill them in, I can look at this and I can write in early, October, order Georgia O'Keeffe books, and I can write in early February, order James Audubon books, because the problem comes when I get all this last minute, people who are ahead of me, they have already gotten all the books. So I want to be one of those people. I want to be the person ahead. Okay. So use your art museum. Look up what exhibits are coming, look up what they're offering, and get it on your calendar, plan for it in your curriculum. And that's how we've just let it dictate. Now this year they did one, it wasn't an artist. It was, I think it's You Are Here, and it was this amazing light display thing. So we didn't necessarily incorporate it in the curriculum, but we did go and visit it. So, oh, you're going to DC, Daisy? Oh my gosh. That's so, well, you don't even have to plan it. You just spend the whole week in DC, and that is a huge amount of curriculum and fun. I really miss DC. When I lived in Maryland, we went there all the time. So I do miss taking advantage of that. That's something now I have to plan a trip to DC. So that's something on my agenda to think about. Okay, look up other things that I suggested to myself on the sheet is look up festivals. So you can just type in, and I put some names because I know sometimes it's hard to think of what to search. Type in your city name and then festivals, Raleigh festivals, and you'll get websites that have linked to festivals. You can also look up for certain types of festivals. So we're doing another year of geography around the world kind of stuff. And so I want to go to the International Festival again. So I typed in International Festival Raleigh, and I got the date, and it is on October 26th. So I put it on my October calendar. There is a Pirate Fest at the History Museum. So that came up in my search. So just write some of those things down. It doesn't mean you have to go to all of them, but it's nice to know. Do I want to study Blackbeard a little bit and then head to the Pirate Fest in September? I don't know, but it gives me the option of knowing what's out there. So that's really helpful for me. Oh my gosh, Stacey, you're going for 9 days. That is incredible. I will tell you, and this is a little side comment. My husband and I, when we lived in Maryland, we would take a weekend away without the kids, and we did DC one of those times, and we took a tour of the Library of Congress. It was amazing. I don't know how my kids would feel about it, but my husband and I thought it was awesome. So that was a really great tour. And the Holocaust Museum was awesome. Again, it's really sad though. And they have a Bible museum now that I've heard really great things about. I haven't been. And they have a Shakespeare theater thing there. You might see what events are going on there. I always look that up too. Nothing's worked out for us, but there is a Shakespeare company theater there that you can see if they have anything going on. Okay, that was a side thing. Look up your performing arts. I haven't done that yet today. You can see I'm going in order. Look up what Broadway musicals are coming, what plays are coming, what are the little theaters around you doing. Those are the ones that are usually affordable for the rest of us. So every summer, wow, you're the expert. You should give us ideas. But that's really awesome. I would love to do DC every summer. So I always look up the Raleigh Little Theater every year has done Midsummer Night's Dream and then something else. So we've seen The Wolf and we've seen Huck and Tom. So look up some of the children's things. I often type into Google Raleigh Homeschool Days, and then Homeschool Days come up for different places around the area. So that's an easy way to fill in this kind of plan also. Look up your science museums. I was just starting on that this morning. I actually found an electricity class I might sign my son up for. But look at what they're offering, what events and exhibits they have coming. Do they match with your curriculum? can you incorporate them in some way? And this isn't like oh, you have to go attend everything. This is like knowing that you can get them out there. What are you stalking, Amy? Are you stalking the Science Museum for tickets? Is that what you're stalking? Pay attention to field trips that are going on. Like I just saw one on my Facebook feed last night for September that I need to write down today, to the shore. So I was thinking about that. Look at your local park and recs guide. Especially now that my kids are becoming teenagers, there's a lot of stuff going. I mean, there was when they were kids too, but there's a lot of stuff going on there for teens that looked really interesting, especially for my homeschooled teens. So hi. How are you, Liana? All right, who else is in here? Oh, the D-Pack. Oh, Hamilton tickets. Good luck. I understand you have to be a member. That's what I've been told, that you have to be a member, and then all the members take that show for their season tickets, and there's really nothing left for the rest of us. But it's in my calendar too. The day that they become available is already in my calendar. I didn't think it was until like, I don't know. It's on my calendar though, with an alarm. So I'm totally with you, but I don't think it's going to happen. But you never know. Okay, so that's what's on here. And then there's a blank spot where I can just put in other things I've run into. So what else have I run into this morning? Look up, I put the Chinese Lantern Festival. In my Learn Around the World Facebook group, I have a schedule now out for the year, and we are doing China. I think Brazil might be September, and China is October. So I typed in China Festival, and there is a Chinese Lantern Festival in Cary every year. So last year we did not splurge. It's not cheap. You know, it's like $15 for adult, 12 for a kid or something. But when you have 6 people, that adds up. So we didn't do it last year, but this year we're studying China. So it feels like something I want to save up for, put in the field trip budget and be able to do. So look around for that kind of stuff too and see what you can incorporate. What else did I run across? Anything else? This is just a quick one for you this morning. Oh, I did, like when I was running into festivals or homeschool days, the Arboretum at NC State has a homeschool day, but it was still listed from last year and it was in April. So of course it showed it as sold out. So I went to my my December month and I put a little note in this box to check for that homeschool day so that I would remember to do it. So that's just the kind of thing. And I feel like this stuff takes planning and we don't always, sit and take the time to do it. So that is what I'm doing today. I'm giving myself permission to sit here, take the time to Google, to research, and to get these sheets filled in for the whole year. So all you would need, you don't need pretty sheets, though I like pretty sheets. You just need a spiral notebook or some loose leaf paper, or if you have Pam Barnhill's planner or Alicia Hudson's planner or whatever you use, a happy planner, just take some time to fill it in somewhere so you know what's going on. And at this point in the year when you're planning your art, your science, your history, you can take advantage of that kind of stuff. I did notice at our history downtown, they have these Fred's Finds worksheets you can pick up. Well, I'd never seen that, so I made a little note to myself that we could just pick one of those up for, they have an exhibit called A Call to Arms, and it's like war artifacts. And I thought, well, that'd just be a fun afternoon with the boys, take them down and pick this sheet up. So I just popped it in a month and made a little note to myself. So that's the kind of stuff you want to do. I think I went through everything in my notes. Oh yeah, and you can also type in like your city name and field trips, and you'll get lots of ideas from that too, of places to look for their homeschool days and look for what they're offering around town. So I will look if there's any comments I've missed. You know what? We should look into that and see if they have a group discount for the Lantern Festival. I didn't see that last year, but you know what? I'm going to make a note now that you said that. And if there is, I know we could get enough of us in Raleigh to go. So that's a great idea. Let's do that. Great idea. And what else did I see? Oh, there you go. The orchestras. Yeah, down in Performing Arts. And that's not just Raleigh. We used to do that in Baltimore. Check your city's symphony orchestra. So we used to do the BSO, the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra. We moved here to the RSO, Raleigh Symphony Orchestra. And check, and they usually have educational programs. They have children's performances and things like that. So I'm so glad you said that, Amy. And you can get them for groups. So they're really fun. Another great one to check out. So look up your local orchestra, whatever it is, and I bet they have something for children. And we have used that to study the composer. So if they have been doing something on a specific composer, or I know one time we attended the Carnival of the Animals, one time we did the Nutcracker, we studied those pieces before we went, and it just helped the kids be more familiar. So it's a great way to also plan for musical fine arts. Oh, Amy, you are just full of ideas. My kids are not fans of the Junior Ranger program, and we'll just leave it at that. But they are really educational and awesome. And when you go to a national park, you can get a little booklet and has activities and things to guide your kids. And then they give them a little pin when they're done, and you can collect them all. And it's kind of a cool collection. So that's a great idea. Daisy, I don't know if I'm going to do a Facebook Live tomorrow. I keep debating it. So we'll see. But I definitely have a list of topics, so I don't know if I'll just do next week and take Thursday and Friday off, or if I will do tomorrow. But I will definitely let you all know as soon as I decide. And thank you for asking. I love doing this. I get some great ideas too. Ballet companies, that's another great one under performing arts. So another great idea. Yeah, Junior Ranger programs. My kids are kind of like, can we just, it's kind of like how they feel about tours. And the little pin they get at the end, not really motivating to them. So we just go enjoy the park. Yeah, I think it's a fantastic program too. It's so cool. So you just kind of know your kids. And this is one of those things where, like, you know, you can feel guilty, and you can, and I'm saying this because of personal experience, and like, well, my kids should do this too, because everybody's kids do this and they love it. And, or you can just accept who your family is and move forward. And so I've just realized I don't bother. Now, sometimes they actually get the workbooks and they play around with them in the car, but they never finish them like the way they're supposed to turn in for the pin. So they're always worth asking for the workbooks, so that you can just, you know, you have something to do in the car ride from one place to the next. But you don't have to necessarily do, I mean, they're required to do so much to turn it in for the pin. And I remember being in Jamestown, and then we bopped over to Yorktown, and we were doing the book for that one. And literally, like, we were ready to go to Great Wolf Lodge where we were staying, but we were sitting there in the lobby just filling out the booklet so they could get the pin. And I remember at that moment, I hated the Junior Rangers program too. And I was like, we're on agreement right now. But it was like they needed 2 more things they had to do. We did them. Anyway, just funny things. I'm looking. Okay. Portrait Museum. I don't know this one, but again, that's the kind of thing, like, look up at your local area and see what's around. That's awesome. I have had Duke Gardens on my list forever, so I need to look up and see if they do something in particular this fall, though I had them tentatively on there for the spring. Yeah, you know, and I mentioned looking into your Rec and Park guides, and sometimes that kind of stuff is listed in there. Like, they have family festival days and all at local parks and open spaces, and sometimes some of that will be listed in there. And of course, you could look up Shakespeare, Raleigh. I've done that if you want to find something there, or live theater, Raleigh, you know, enter your city name and that kind of stuff. What else was in here? Okay. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Molly's kids are the same way. Yeah, and I just think, you know, it's knowing who your kids are and going with it. And that's great. So it's nothing you did wrong or right or any of that stuff. But if nothing else, grab the books in case they're bored in the car. All right, ladies, that was it. This was a nice short one today instead of, I don't know what AIA is, but I see local professional organizations. I don't know what AIA is. Tell me what that is, Amy. And yeah, so many things to research. So again, this was just my way of reminding myself what to look up all around town, And I've actually had some friends who aren't homeschoolers grab these and then print them out because they're just useful for motherhood, because and you want to know what's going on around town. You don't have to be a homeschooler, though as homeschoolers we can then take this and incorporate it into our curriculum, but anybody can use them. It's just a good way of keeping track of all that stuff. The architecture organization. Oh, that's a great idea. So look up professional organizations around town and see if they'll do something. That kind of thing and what's going on. All right, I decided today this was going to be a quick one. That was it, ladies, and happy planning. Daisy and everyone, I will let you know if I'm doing any more Facebook Lives this week, but I think I need a few days to just sit and plan, and then I will be better equipped to share what's going on next week. And I know a lot of people want to talk about teenagers, so I have a feeling we're going to do that soon too. All right. Bye, everyone.